Hello everybody, welcome back to Easy Weeknight Cooking with Heart's Desire Spice Blends. And what are we doing tonight? Game Day Dip. Awesome stuff, great crowd pleaser, and so simple. So what are we gonna need? First of all, we're going to need 8 ounces of cream cheese, 16 ounces of sour cream, 1 tablespoon of lemon juice, and 1 tablespoon of chili bowl spice. Why? Because this month is the month of love and this guy's on sale. Score. So you can also do this recipe with Jambalaya blend or Mexican chili powder for another really great dip. Each one is very different from each other. And if you want to go to the sweet side, use our chai spice with sugar to taste. Big score. Great on French toast. The options are endless. But tonight we are going to the savory side with a little bit of Tex-Mex heat. Oh yeah. So what are we going to need to do? We are going to need to, first of all, we're going to be taking our cream cheese. It's already been softened. It's been sitting out here for a little over 2 hours now, and we are going to soften it even more in a stand mixer. You can do this by hand, no big deal. One of these, big score. You can use a hand mixer, you can use a stand mixer, whatever floats your boat. Usually that's water, but let's go ahead and get started. We like this party. Go ahead and open up your cream cheese and scoop it on in there. Let's see if I can do this. Sometimes I am challenged. Most of the time in a good way. And we are going to then put the head down and soften this even further. Basically what we're going to be doing here is we're going to just break it up so that it's easier to incorporate other things, because we're going to be putting in the sour cream, which is kind of watery and it doesn't incorporate terribly well with cream cheese right away. This is well creamed. You're going to want to see this. In order to cream this stuff, basically, you want to make sure that you've got those beaters going through it enough so that it's just really easy to spread. That's the big thing. That's why we want this stuff softened, because otherwise you're going to get all sorts of lumps, and who wants that? Seriously. We're not going to whip this, though. Using whipped cream cheese is awesome. Go ahead and do that. If you've got whipped cream cheese, there's no reason not to. So we're going to soften that and then start putting in your sour cream in stages. Very important, because we are dealing with an oily substance and a watery substance. They like to repel each other. Do a little bit at a time here. Open that bad boy up. Scrape off that wonderful sour cream off of that plastic there. And I'm going to get no more than 1/3 of this stuff in there. Probably more like 1/4. And go ahead. You can put this on high, you can put it on medium. Just go ahead and mix it up until everything is no longer lumpy. And that's really the best way to go about it, because once this has stopped being lumpy, that means that the fats in sour cream and the fats in the cream cheese have become one, and you won't get a lumpy result. So I'm going to kind of get a little bit of this out of the beater. Get it out of there. Come here. There we go. I'm going to check this to make sure it is not lumpy with my spatula, and when I am content that we have no lumpy bumps in there, I'm going to put a bit more in there, probably up to half the container. And go ahead and put this back down. Let it go again. Next. So go ahead and put this on medium-high to high. You're not going to get things splashing all over the place if you've got a bowl that's high enough. And we're well incorporated already. Sweet! Go ahead and put the last of your sour cream in. And now is when we get fun with a lot of the other flavor. Give me that sour cream. Okay, put that aside. And I'm going to put my spatula aside. We are going to be using a tablespoon of chili bowl. Isn't that thing cute? That's one of our small jars. And we're using 1 tablespoon of chili bowl spice. I'm gonna go ahead and pour that over my tablespoon measure. A little bit more. Come here. There we go. So 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And why am I using lemon juice? Because it's a natural flavor enhancer. And this is a great way to have tons and tons of flavor without the salt. Now, you're going to add salt to taste after you've let it sit for a while, because honestly, when you're using this, these blends have chilies in them. And when the chilies hydrate, they let off their flavors. And also the seed spices, when they hydrate, they let off their flavors. And when all the flavors become one, oh boy, howdy, baby, that's wonderful. So you're gonna let this sit for a while, at least half an hour, if not 2 hours, to overnight before you serve this. And at that point, when everything's hydrated and all the flavors gotten really wonderful, that's when you test it for your salt. 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. If you oops, that's okay. Honest. Okay, let's put this baby back down and see what we get. Okay, it looks like we are well incorporated here. And look at that. There we go. I'm going to set this over on my sour cream and cream cheese stuff and give this another stir, because you don't always have everything coming together. You still have spots that don't have spices in them. You have spots that maybe a little bit of cream cheese and sour cream aren't, all the way together. So you're going to scrape the bottom and give this a good stir. Scrape the sides, because stuff always splashes up on the sides. Try not to make a mess. Okay. And that, my darlings, is looking wonderful. Looky there. Oh, you can see the individual bits of chili and spices, maybe a teeny bit of green if you look really hard, from some of the oregano or marjoram in the chili bowl. And as this sits, it's going to get more uniformly brown. And that's telling you that all these wonderful spices have actually hydrated, let off their flavor, used up, and let osmosis do its thing. We all know that osmosis is basically water going past a barrier, right? How this works is the water from the cream cheese and sour cream go past the cell barrier into our spices, because they're all plants, right? Into our spices and take the flavor both ways. So the longer it sits, the more potent it gets. And what am I going to do now? It's almost dinner time, sweetie. We've got ribs right over here that smell amazing. They've been on the smoker all day. We've got this really great plate of veggies that, by the way, yes, this is dinner. So I will commonly do, say, a Polish sausage, some of these veggies over here, and some game day dip, and call it dinner. Or I go ahead and use this with like Lay's scoops. But this recipe was inspired by my godmother. And she would make this just great chili dip. Whenever we had like Super Bowl Sunday or Rose Bowl, she always rooted for the Bruins, always will. And it had cream cheese and cheddar and all this great stuff in it, but it took half the day to make. So this was definitely inspired by her and her awesome food. Oh my gosh, the woman can cook like nobody's business. And so instead, got this wonderful stuff right here. Give me a spoon. But so there you have it. Game day dip. 5 minutes to make, and stick it in the fridge. Make sure that you put saran wrap on in full contact on the top of this, or else it'll form a skin over it. So when you put this in the fridge, go ahead and put it in a container and make sure saran wrap is in full contact across the top, and you won't get a skin over the top of this stuff. Let it sit overnight. Take it to your potluck, or your game party, or whatever you're going to be doing. People will want a recipe, ask you where you got this stuff and where they can get this stuff, and you'll have a secret, my friend. Oh yeah. So from our kitchen to yours, this is Game Day Dip. Have a great one and keep things tasty.